Okay guys, next one that we're looking at then is science and technology, so one of those big themes that runs throughout medicine. Let's have a look at the medieval period to begin with. We've got 1250 to 1500, 13th, 14th and 15th century. Guys, there was no technology at this time, so no science, no technology that was influencing medicine. Remember, it was heavily dominated by religion and the church. The only thing that we can just sneak into this section is the printing press, which was invented in 1440, but actually the impact that it had was later in the Renaissance. So no science and technology here. Move on to the next time period. Remember, we need to be looking at change and continuity, maybe looking and considering, well, there wasn't any in the medieval period, but was there any during the Renaissance? So we've got the printing press. Remember, this was developed, it allowed books to be copied quickly, fastly, they could spread ideas around the world, and most importantly, the church didn't have control over the printing press, so they could publish whatever books they wanted to with new scientific ideas about medicine. You've got the microscope being invented during this time period in the Renaissance. Not very good, it wasn't very strong, you couldn't see microbes through it, but it allowed you to see more than the naked eye would show you. And you've also got the Royal Society in 1660. Remember, that group of scientists that came together to discuss and explore new ideas. They used scientific ideas, they used technology in order to try and further their understanding of what was causing illness and different treatments that people could use. They also took advantage of the printing press to be able to share their journal, Philosophical Transactions, with people around the world and share those ideas. So we have got some development in terms of science and technology during the Renaissance period. The industrial medicine, you will see that this is the time period where there is a huge amount of science and technology influencing medicine. 1700 to 1900, we're talking the 18th and 19th century. You have got more advanced microscopes by this point. They can see bacteria through them. That does lead to things like spontaneous generation, so incorrect explanations, but they were at least able to see that bacteria was there. You've then got Louis Pasteur using swan neck flasks, going out with sterile flasks into the city streets of Paris, opening them up, closing it, doing the same with a different sterile flask into the Alps and the mountains, and seeing that actually there were different amounts of microbes in the air depending on where you were. That was only possible due to swan neck flasks, and also the advanced microscopes that let him analyse what was inside them. You've got Petri dishes. These were used particularly by people like Robert Koch, who would use agar jelly to grow different bacteria in the dishes. He would then stain them using different dyes, and he was also used photographic lenses in order to take photos of them. This allowed him to be able to identify which germs caused which diseases. So for instance, anthrax as an example. Lots of technology, lots of science going on during this time period. Final one, you've got modern medicine, 1900 to the present day, okay, 20th and 21st century. Technology is in all aspects of medicine, okay, and science is constantly pushing the boundaries and getting people to make new discoveries all the time. Science and technology is allowing treatment and surgery to become more precise. That's the word you need to use in the exam when talking about the modern time period. So diagnosis, different forms of technology being used, so things like x-rays, blood tests, MRI scans, CAT scans. Treatment as well, you've obviously got different forms of technology being used for treatment for things like chemotherapy, radiation therapy. And surgery, you've also got technology present as well. So you've got things like keyhole surgery taking place, tiny little incisions made in the body, robot-assisted surgery. It's running all the way through medicine in the modern period, but it's making it more precise, it's making it more accurate.